Get ready with me for this 10th game of the season. It is literally 5:58 a.m. We have an early game. I need to leave the house by 7. So I'm going to hurry. I feel like we can talk about my journey with depression and anxiety. I touched on it in my tattoo tour video, but I can really kind of go in depth today. So my anxiety and depression really started when I was in my senior year of high school. I don't know what changed. I mean, now I have decompressed and like got it all out with a therapist, and we kind of chopped it up to COVID hitting, me not being able to graduate, and stuff like that, and also the person I was with at the time. You know, your body can reject people in different ways. So I've heard stories of people get like UTIs from people, or like stuff like their body just shuts down in that way. Mine was kind of anxiety. I think a person that I was with was making me really anxious in the things I was participating in. I've talked about this plenty of times, and because that's all the person I was with at the time did, and so I kind of fell into it. Obviously I started before him, but with him it made me anxious, and so yeah, so I got through that obviously later down the road, but it started to a point where I would hyperventilate so much, to the point where I would have to call 911 and go to the hospital because I couldn't breathe. And it got to a point where I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere, because anywhere I went, I would panic and just start crying and just have a really bad anxiety attack and panic attack. And then obviously I took myself to a psychiatrist, and that's when I was diagnosed with anxiety and panic disorder and depression. They ended up prescribing me like a lot of different medication, Xanax, antidepressives, a couple other things, and I took those up until my freshman year of college. And when him and I broke up, which was like my first week in college, we broke up, for some reason I instantly just like stopped panicking. Like, I wasn't panicking no more, so I stopped taking all my medications, and I hated the way antidepressants made me feel. I just felt like a robot. But so after I stopped taking everything, my panic disorder stopped, but my depression just like increased by a million. Like, I was so depressed my freshman year. I think if anyone, the first semester of freshman year, I was so depressed. I think anyone who knows me during that time, I was not a good person. Like, I didn't want to do anything with anyone. I wanted to be in my room 24/7. I didn't want to be around anybody. I was really mean. I just was really depressed. But you know, you separate yourself when you're depressed, and I don't think the people that I was around at the time understood that, and it caused me to lose so many friends. But you grow when you're uncomfortable, and you have to lose everything to find yourself, and that's really what happened to me. My depression got so bad to the point where I was ready to end it all. I was done. I wrote letters out. I was done. It was so bad. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it was a really hard time in my life. And so I wrote out letters. I said I was done, but I told myself I was going to sleep on it, and then in the morning, if I still felt the same way, then that was it. So I did that exact thing. I woke up the next morning and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get a cat. So I went to an adoption place. I played with a million cats. And then I found my baby, Weezy. And she is the thing that saved my life. And I live and I stand by that, because she was a baby kitten. And she kind of gave me a reason every day to wake up and to be present in life, and yeah, she saved my life. And with that, after I started getting like more happier when she was around, I started taking myself out to do stuff. I didn't really want to do stuff with people. I still enjoyed my alone time. I think that's why I am how I am today, where I don't really care for friends. Like, I really could care less for friends, because I pulled myself out of the darkest time of my life. And people just make me anxious, and I hate going through fake friends and losing friends and, stuff of that nature. I hate just that process. Anyone who knows me knows I don't trust anybody. Like, I don't know if it's trust issues, but I just don't trust anybody. I don't like people around me, especially when I know their intentions are not right, So, and I'm a very good person at like reading people. So I don't really make friends easily because I am very quiet around people when I first meet them. Because I'm really just observing. I'm an observer. Oh, look at my baby. This is not Wheezy. Wheezy passed away this past June. That was literally the hardest thing I've ever been through. Sorry. I can't talk about that. That makes me like upset. Losing her was really hard because it was the person or the thing that like I said, that saved me. So losing her was really, really, really hard, because I feel like she saved my life. So I went through a really, really hard time this past summer. But I finally got more kitties, and they've like filled a void that I didn't know. Like, I didn't think I'd be ready like anytime soon, but Travis took me to go play with a bunch of kitties, and I was like, okay, like maybe I am ready, and I think I need this for myself because I was again depressed this past summer. And I would cry like every single day. So he finally took me a bit more. But anyways, back to college. So I had depression really, really bad. I started taking myself out more. I had one really good friend that I hung out with every single day. He was there like through all, like from the very beginning. So he's seen me like struggle and then get better, which was really cool. Hold on. But yeah, and then I started therapy at that time, and that's really when I broke down. I mean, my childhood, everything, and kind of, obviously I'm being very vague about certain stuff and a lot of triggers to my depression, but that's because it's really personal and it's like family stuff. But yeah, so it was bad. It was bad for a minute, but I'm just glad that I got through that. And I always say, I always recommend therapy. And just finding one or two friends that you really love and that will be there through it all, because I did have friends, like I had roommates in college at that time. Worst roommates you can ever think of. But they were not supportive of how I was feeling. They just thought, they took it personal. They just thought, oh, she hates us or she doesn't want to be around us. And that caused a lot of issues. I ended up moving out of that place and getting new roommates. My new roommates were beautiful souls. I loved everything about them. They were the sweetest girls ever. And they helped a lot. I mean, they loved my cat. They would watch her if I was out of town, stuff like that. They were amazing human beings. And I still talk to them to this day. Like, we're still acquaintances. I think the first step of getting over depression is recognizing it, recognizing the signs, or if you don't have it, but recognizing the signs in an individual. Because there was times that I would go out and party and stuff like this, and everyone's like, oh, she's just fine. But I would go home at night and not want to live. So I think it's really important in recognizing these behaviors and stuff like that. Another thing is I just started not doing no schoolwork. I was like, F all of this. Like, I just want to have fun. And when I wasn't having fun, I just wanted to soak in bed. Yeah, if I talked about all of this in depth, we'd be here for like 13 parts. So I'm done, and go to my next video for my outfit.